welcome back to Fresno State Focus on Sports. I'm Isaac Marquez.
And I'm Jasmine Alvarado. We have a great show for you as we kick things off with this past weekend's homecoming game. So the Bulldogs took a tough loss at their homecoming game against the San Diego State Aztecs on Saturday. With a final score of 23-0, the Aztecs took home the old oil can, hoisting it high in the air, cheering in celebration. Trailing behind with 0 points the entire game, head coach Matt Entz says there's a lot that needs to be worked on.
We're not where we need to be right now. We got to continue to grow. This is it. It is what it is. We got to put our players in great positions to be successful. We're better than what we're putting out there right now. That's what's frustrating to me.
While the Dogs did lose the game, the football team, as well as Fresno State Spirit, repped their black uniforms with pride. And as part of the homecoming festivities, the Bulldog Marching Band put on a show, and former head coach Jeff Tedford was inducted into the Fresno State Ring of Honor. A tough loss at homecoming. What are your thoughts, Isaac?
You know, elephant in the room, Carson Conklin, new starting quarterback for Fresno State. We didn't find out until the warm-ups, I believe, and I feel bad for Entz because I already know, every question from every press conference going forward is going to be, oh, who's going to be the starting quarterback? So, that's going to be a headache to deal with. But let's talk about the game. It was 23-0. The first time Fresno State has been shut out at home since 1980. I wasn't even around 20 years before that. So it's just crazy to see that we're living in history, technically. Might not be the best history to live in, but, let's talk about that Bulldog defense, though. One thing that we could talk about the Bulldog defense, they let up 16 points, only one touchdown. The rest were 3 field goals, and it shows that bend but don't break mentality. Alzillian Hamilton, did you see that interception? He was running the route for the receiver and caught it over his shoulder. What a beautiful play. I saw it on my TikTok feed. It was all over Instagram. It was one of those plays like, yeah, that's a highlight reel. Speaking of highlight reels, E.J. Warner, he didn't have many because he wasn't starting. He was on a short leash, and he pulled that leash. He was 5-2 as a starter. Whether or not you think he should have been pulled or not, going forward, it's going to be rough. But I believe in Fresno State, and I think, Boise coming up. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we'll see what they got. But for now, Aaron Story is joining us with a special guest to talk about what it's like to be a Fresno State football player.
Being a starter for the Fresno State football team is a great honor. With me today is starting offensive lineman number 71, Roland Fullwood. Roland, thanks for joining the show today.
Thanks for having me.
It's been 8 games through this season. How are you feeling so far? Feeling healthy? You feeling right?
Yeah, I'm feeling good, honestly. Normally this is like the time of the season, like where guys get banged up. You start seeing fall off from guys and dropping off, but honestly, I'm feeling good.
That's great to hear. It's kind of just a game of football. It's a rough sport, Kind of before the game, what are you like? Are you a hyped-up guy? You're more locked into yourself? What are you like before the game?
Honestly, it just depends on like how I'm feeling that day. Like, depends maybe how that day went for me. Maybe something happened, and I'm like, okay, I need to focus on myself and just listen to this song and just how I'm feeling right now. I'm gonna sing that song maybe 5 times in a row, or maybe sometimes I'm like, okay, maybe I feel like I need to get the guys going, bring some juice to the team,
Yeah,
it just depends how I'm feeling.
For sure. So when you get into that hyped up move, who's kind of who you listen to before the game?
Oh, most definitely NBA Youngboy. Like, that is like my go-to hypes. Like, I need a hype song, just type in NBA Youngboy and play anything that pops up.
For sure. So we've had 2 bye weeks already this season, and you're not originally from Fresno. Do you enjoy going back home, or do you just kind of stay here in the city and chill?
Yeah, so the first bye week, I just stayed in the city and I chilled. And then the second bye week, I went back home and watched both of my little brothers play some football.
Oh, nice. So what's it like, being a role model to your little brothers on and off the field?
Honestly, I just try and do my best, like, on and off the field, because I know that my younger brothers are watching everything that I do.
For sure. Thank you for joining me today, Roland.
Of course.
You can catch Roland and the Bulldogs playing this weekend in their 5th conference game on the road versus the Boise State Broncos at 12:30 p.m. on Saturday.
Fresno State dominated UC Merced on the basketball court last night. The Dogs had a blowout victory of 73-49 against the Bobcats and kept them from scoring for over 6 minutes. By the end of the first half, the Bulldogs had a double-digit lead and never looked back. They kept that momentum until the end of the game, finishing with a commanding 24-point lead. Fresno State officially starts their season next Monday at 5 p.m. when they face Fresno Pacific here at home. Man, I love basketball season, and there's just something about going to the Save Mart Center and watching a game. How about you, Jasmine? What are some, Save Mart Center memories?
Yeah, I mean, the Save Mart Center is great during the games. I mean, the lights, the stadium, being inside, it's warm. But unfortunately, the red wave isn't that present, so we need to get people out there.
Yeah, because I remember as a kid, I went to a Fresno State basketball game, and at that time, I was in the basketball era, so I wanted to be a player. I ended up being 5'6", and not the fittest, so those dreams kind of died. But that passion for watching basketball, it's still there.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely shown. The red wave doesn't show up that much, but I'm sure there's potential, and the games are always still a lot of fun.
Oh, I mean, the game's great. The stadium's great. The atmosphere is great. It's just a great experience. People need to show up more. The Dogs were back in the pool on Friday. Fresno State hosted Cal State East Bay and Fresno Pacific in a tri-meet. The story of the meet was the Dogs relay team. Haley Oke, Yane Pulkinen, Sienna Cheng Lucy, and Mackenzie Miller Lung set a program record. The Dogs finished the 200 medley relay with a time of 1:38.51. The Dogs meet is next Saturday, November 1st, against the Nevada Wolfpack. Fresno State had 2 games at the Save Mart Center this week for volleyball. One ended in a win and one ended in a loss. On Thursday, the Dogs served up a 3-0 sweep against New Mexico. Addison Haluska led with 13 kills, and Jenna Legault followed with 11 kills and 2 blocks of her own. On Saturday, though, the roles were reversed. The Dogs were swept 3-0 by GCU. A strong offense again led by Addison Haluska with 13 kills this time, and Jenna Legault with 12 kills. There's always more work that needs to be done.
We've got to serve aggressively, get the other team out of system, and then we've got to be able to control the ball better on serve receive.
The Dogs are not finished yet, as they will be back on the road facing off against Colorado State on Thursday.
Coming up on Fresno State Focus, we see how the NBA season is moving along and just a few days in.
Plus, we get a look at the MLB World Series as it swings back to California for Game 3 tonight.
I got the bulldog spirit up in my head.
Up in my head. Up in my head.
I got that bulldog spirit. Up in my head. Up in my head to stay. I got that bulldog spirit. Deep in my heart. Deep in my heart.
Deep in my heart.
Got that bulldog spirit. Deep in my heart.
Deep in my heart to stay.
I got that bulldog spirit.
Down in my toes. Down in my toes. Down in my toes. I got that bulldog spirit.
Down in my toes. Hey!
Down in my toes to stay. I got that bulldog spirit. Up in my head. Deep in my heart. Down in my toes. I got that bulldog spirit. All over me. All over me to stay. I got that bulldog spirit.
Deep in my heart.
Deep in my heart. Deep in my
The NBA season is officially underway after kicking off last Tuesday. The Detroit Pistons face off against the Houston Rockets on Friday, with the Pistons winning 115-111 against the Rockets. Meanwhile, San Antonio's Victor Wembanyama is making an early MVP case, averaging over 30 points and 6 blocks a game. Rookie VJ Edgecombe also made history, dropping 34 points in his NBA debut for the Philadelphia 76ers, with the most since Wilt Chamberlain in 1959. Tonight, the Lakers take on the Trailblazers at 7, and the Warriors go head-to-head with the Memphis Grizzlies.
NBA season's here, and you're reading off all those stats, and offenses are kind of going crazy. Wembanyama dropping 30. I know Giannis is having a great season. He was actually named Eastern Conference Player of the Year, and it just goes to show that offense is becoming unstoppable. I'm a defense guy, so it kind of sucks to see all this offense and highlight plays and people having fun. I'm a Debbie Downer when it comes to that, but it's still nice to see offense, I guess. People scoring.
Yeah, I mean, the season just started, so there's still several months ahead. So they might be having a good start right now, but who knows later on? It could be a downfall. It could be an uphill. We never know.
I doubt it. It's offense is key. NBA, it's so explosive. It's going to be fun to watch, for those, who love offense. But, personally, that's not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
Speaking of cup of teas, the FBI's investigation continues ahead with the current coach The FBI investigation continues with head coach and a player. Chauncey Billups, the head coach of the Portland Trail Blazers, only coached one game this season. He is indefinitely suspended. Billups was caught money laundering with the New York Mafia and using an illegal card table. The table had an X-ray filter. There's also a machine that shuffled cards under the table. Terry Rozier has been investigated by the NBA, but they found no accounts with his email or anything on his phone. But he is still going to court for helping others bet on him and is also indefinitely suspended. Crazy stuff happening in NBA. I mean, this is some like real mafia movie type stuff going on. It's just craziness happening all over the place.
Yeah, I mean, these players, like, who knows what's going on? But also in the coach situation, so the Trailblazers lost their head coach just before the season started.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think that does?
I mean, you know, Thiago Splitter, he's filling in for that role of coaching. So, you know, they could be worse off. But, you know, they started 1-2. Those 2 losses, you know, they only lost by a few points. And that one win they had, it was by 20 points. So, Trailblazers, you know, early on, they might not be affected, but later on, when, you know, reach that all-star break, you're going to feel that, like, loss of a head coach for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that's not the only change happening. Like, the Heat lost a player that many people in the locker room enjoyed, so that's probably also having an effect on the team.
Terry Rozier, he was a glue guy, and when you lose those glue guys, one of 2 things can happen. Fall apart or rally, and they definitely rallied. The Blue Jays and the Dodgers face off for Game 3 tonight in the World Series. Toronto took Game 1 when their bats came alive in the 6th inning, scoring 9 runs. Addison Barger hit the first pinch hit grand slam in a World Series history as the Blue Jays won 11-4. Game 2 was dominated by the Dodgers pitching, though, as Yoshinobu Yamamoto threw a complete game, allowing just 1 run on 4 hits. Game 3 is set for 5 p.m. tonight in LA. You know, the series is tied up 1-1, looking pretty good so far. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, the games, I know the energy is amazing, and so they're definitely the Dodgers are definitely going to have the support system that they need. I mean, everybody's always super excited, super hyped, singing the songs, dancing. Yeah. So if they're looking for that support in the crowd, they're definitely going to have it.
Yeah, and speaking of crowds, my dad, he was in the crowd. We were actually at home watching Game 1, and he's an LA-born Dodger fan. You know, he bleeds blue, but, you know, we were watching the game, and then that 6th inning came along, and I was scared for the TV's life because I thought that thing was going through the window. He was mad. You know, they let a point after run, and then the grand slam. Yeah, it was a rough night for him. So poor guy. You know, maybe one day, you know, he'll be better.
Yeah, I'm sure as well as people watching the games on TikTok, we're also going to see a lot of reels of people on TikTok like recapping their reactions to certain plays and stuff.
Those TikTok highlights are something else.
So the NHL is a few weeks into the season. Here's how some of the teams are doing. First, we start close to home with the San Jose Sharks. The Sharks are struggling to begin the season. On Sunday, they beat the Minnesota Wild in an overtime victory, 6-5. The Sharks improved to a 2-5-2 record, and in Southern California, the Los Angeles Kings are in a better situation. On Sunday, they faced the Chicago Blackhawks and improved to a record of 4-3-3 in a 3-1 victory.
FIFA World Cup, it is coming up. In 7 months, it is going to be expensive. I'm going to try everything I can to go, but it's not looking that way.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're looking at tickets maybe around $1,200,
yeah, I
which
saw
is
some
a lot
starting
for a
at $1,200. Yeah, I don't know. You know, but fun fact, it's the first time World Cup has been hosted by 3 countries, USA, Canada, Mexico. So, you know, if I can't go to a U.S. game, maybe I'll try to go to a Mexico game. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, a couple teams to watch. We're looking out for Spain, England. Maybe I know Messi's coming back, so maybe Argentina will take that World Cup again.
You know, Messi, I love Messi. His age is in question, obviously. He's a bit older, but there's something about watching, you know, a guy like Messi playing the World Cup. It just feels right. Something in the world feels right when he's playing.
Yeah, I know when he took that victory last year, I mean, 4 years ago, it was just great, you know.
Yeah, you know, that he has that, you know, Messi and Ronaldo, but Messi, they got that World Cup.
Yeah, right.
And that's our show for today.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
We'll be back on Wednesday to bring you more on your weekly focus on sports with Finley Pendergast.